All right, Garrett Tenney, thank you so much. For more on this, let's bring in Arizona Republican Congresswoman Debbie Lesko. She's a member of the Congressional Border Security Caucus. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining this. I've got to ask you about this because it's getting a lot of coverage. At a rally in Ohio, former President Donald Trump, he was talking about the auto industry, he was talking about imports, and he made this statement. Take a listen.
China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States. If I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country.
So he's talking about the auto industry there, but that comment there, it's getting a lot of play. I mean, what do you have to say about this? Do you feel like it's being taken out of context?
Well, it's definitely been taken out of context. And thank you for having me on this show, Christina. And that's what the liberal media does all the time with Donald Trump. They have been going after him from the time he announced he was running for presidency back in 2016. And so it's a concerted effort. Liberal media is out to get him. The Democrats are out to get him. And anytime he says anything, they're going to take it out of context and go after him.
All right. And, while there's so much focus on what he said, during that rally, the fentanyl crisis continues to rage on, as does human smuggling at our open border. Again, with fentanyl being such a big issue, I want to go ahead and show our audience this photo. Take a look at this. So Port Director Michael Humphreys with Border Patrol, he shared this. I mean, just take a look at that. All of those narcotics, most of it fentanyl, was seized within 4 days, just a 4-day time period. And just one of those photos alone, it's more than 659,000 pills. So when you see images like that, which I do all the time in social media, all of these border agents just sharing these photos day after day, I can tell you as a parent, I am terrified of my kid, getting a hold of any of this, especially with so much fentanyl looking like candy. What is your reaction to that? The staggering amount of fentanyl pouring across our open border.
Well, it's absolutely ridiculous and unconscionable that the Biden administration doesn't close down our border. Not only are drugs pouring over our border, like you saw in that picture, and by the way, I've met with Director Humphrey several times because I'm from Arizona and go down to the border numerous times. They're doing a great job, but they're being overwhelmed, and the cartel has great resources. The Biden administration just wants open border policies. They may say they want to close border, but they don't. And the numbers prove that, because under President Trump, let's say in December of 2020, only 74,000 crossings. You fast forward to under Biden, December of 2023, 302,000 crossings. And that's just the ones that they've captured. That doesn't include the gotaways. That doesn't include all of the people, that 30,000 a month from Haiti, from Cuba, from Nicaragua, from Venezuela, that he's just flying into the country. This is just insanity. And that's why Republicans keep pushing back in the U.S. House of Representatives to try to secure the border.
Yeah, a lot of them pushing Biden, wondering why he doesn't, plan on taking or issuing any executive action, issuing any executive orders to deal with this. Why doesn't he do that? What do you think?
The only logical reason I can think why Biden and the Democrats keep wanting these open border policies is they want more Democrat Congress members, because every 10 years there's a census, and the census does not just count citizens, it counts residents. And so if you have all these sanctuary cities in Democrat-controlled states and cities, they'll have more Congress members. Now, I assume after they get enough Congress members to take over, then they will change the laws and allow illegals to vote. That's the only thing I can think of logically, because why would any president want sex trafficking, drug trafficking, all of these people flooding across our border? I mean, my goodness sakes, it's over 9 million people since he's been in office. It's just pure insanity.
Got to ask you real quick, how is all of this, how is this impacting Arizona's politics? These elections coming up, I mean, how is the border crisis and all the smuggling and whatnot, the hot spots in Arizona, how is that impacting voters there?
Well, the border security is the #1 voting issue in Arizona. It has been for many years, and now it's a lot worse and more prominent. So not only for the presidential election, but for the U.S. Senate seat here. And our Democrat that's running for U.S. Senate, Ruben Gallego, I served with him in the Arizona House and then in the U.S. House together. And he's a liberal. He supports open border policies. And so we really need a Republican to win in the U.S. Senate, and we need President Trump back in the presidency so that we can secure the border.
All right, border security remaining a top issue during this election. Thank you so much, Congresswoman Debbie Lesko. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so the curfew in Miami Beach